Imagine for a moment that the new book you've been waiting for has at last arrived. You've ripped open the packaging and with freshly sanitised hands, you begin excitedly to turn the pages. As you do so, you notice something rather odd. This book isn't divided into chapters, nor even into paragraphs. In fact, there's no punctuation at all, just strings of words with no gaps between them. Imagine how difficult it would be to read and engage with such a book. It turns out that the punctuation and the gaps between the words, those spaces where nothing much seems to be happening, are as important as the words themselves in enabling us to engage with the meaning of the text. Without them, the book is just a string of words. In this season of Lent, one of the things we're encouraged to do is to refresh our life of prayer. In Matthew's Gospel, chapter 6, Jesus teaches his disciples that when they pray, they shouldn't heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, because Jesus says they think they'll be heard because of their many words. But no, your Father in heaven already knows what you need. Jesus is reminding us that we don't pray simply to grab God's attention. We pray to help us be more attentive to God. We don't need to pile up our words without a pause. We need to be able simply to pray and then to make space to hear God. That's why in his teaching on prayer, Jesus goes on to give the disciples the Lord's Prayer, and it opens with directing our attention back to God. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as in heaven. The prayer invites us to listen to God as well as speaking to God. So now imagine prayer as rather a different kind of book to the one I began by describing. Imagine that you're turning the pages of a beautiful, illuminated manuscript, the kind of manuscript the monks here in Gloucester Cathedral would have made many centuries ago. The words are beautifully and prayerfully framed. But as you turn the pages of that manuscript, you notice in some of the spaces around the words pictures and colours and designs which, in their vibrancy, seem almost to be dancing off the page. It's in the spaces around the words that the scribe has been able to do some of his most beautiful and creative work that addresses our imagination. In the same way, in prayer, it will often be in those spaces, those gaps around our words, that God himself can address us with his creative and life-giving presence. In prayer we speak to God, but we also stop to listen for God.